high-octane.
Today, we'll look at the 2024 film titled Hounds of War. In the first scene, a group of highly skilled police officers in Malta are closing up on a notorious mercenary named Ryder. The officers gather outside his apartment door, braced for his impending arrest. They hear the faint sound of the television still turned on, signaling that someone is inside. They rush into the flat, scanning the surroundings swiftly. Despite their thorough search, they are unable to locate Ryder. Colonel Hart, the mission's commanding commander, is monitoring the entire operation using the officers' body cameras. Just as the crisis intensifies, Hart gets an unexpected phone call. To his surprise, Ryder is on the other end of the line, casually riding a motorcycle and preparing to execute a hit. Hart begs Ryder to ponder and chat over the phone, desperate to keep his intentions from being carried out. However, Ryder immediately hangs up, leaving Hart with the terrifying realization that his target is none other than the President of the United States. Panicked, Hart orders his forces to track Ryder's location using satellite monitoring, hoping to escape the worst. Meanwhile, the President of the United States is completing a high-profile meeting with the President of Malta. Ryder, unbeknownst to them, has already infiltrated a nearby building and effectively neutralized a lone security guard, clearing his path. He climbs to the top of the tower, carefully setting his viewpoint, and quickly has the President in his sights. Hart furiously tries to warn a nearby agent of the impending danger, but his efforts fail. Instead of firing a fatal shot, Ryder strikes the President in the arm, leaving him damaged but alive. Ryder makes a quick getaway and exits the nation, with his assignment only partially fulfilled. Ryder's pregnant sister-in-law Jenna and brother, Bulldog, meet him as he arrives in Malta 6 months earlier. Colonel Hart has prepared a mission, but Ryder has reservations about serving under his orders. Despite Ryder's reservations, Bulldog assures him that the operation has substantial profit potential. During their drive, Jenna jokes with Ryder that it's time for him to find a lady and settle down, but Ryder rejects the suggestion, still emotionally wounded from his previous relationship. She also enthusiastically explains the Stronghold, a new opulent estate named after Ryder, claiming that he will love it. The rest of the crew, a motley mix of mercenaries, greet Ryder when they arrive at the massive villa. Colonel Hart comes on the scene, and passions quickly rise as Ryder and Hart face each other. Their shared past is laced with resentment, coming from a prior mission in which Hart's negligence cost lives. Despite his distaste for Hart, Ryder decides to join the mission, but only because he is loyal to Bulldog. However, he expresses a great desire to never see Hart again once the work is over. That evening, the squad celebrates and parties late into the night, having fun and loosening up before the mission. Ryder, on the other hand, remains detached, sitting alone and deeply focused. The next day, Colonel Hart officially announces the details of Operation Brimstone. Their target is Khalid Mustafa Attaf, a former farmer who has risen to become a powerful Libyan warlord. The mission is critical because Khalid's growing power threatens to drag the United States into a proxy war in the region. The team meticulously and emotionally prepares their equipment for the dangerous search that awaits. After a brief, dramatic moment of slow-motion team strutting, they board a helicopter and take off, building anticipation as they reach the drop zone. By dusk, the crew arrives at the designated location and begins a silent march toward their goal. They sweep over the earth like shadows in the darkness, easily eliminating a group of soldiers huddled around a fire with their swift and ghostly movements. They arrive at a motel, where rumors say Khalid is sheltering in an underground bunker. 3 of the men split off, knocking out a guard before breaking into the power room to hack the security cameras, while the other 2 move to the 3rd level to set up a sniper position. Meanwhile, Ryder leads a 4-man attack team, with snipers guarding their path. They move quietly farther into the complex, their actions methodical and precise. Ryder and his men quickly dispatch the final guard before entering Khalid's headquarters. The operator monitoring the security perimeter warns them of Khalid's location in his bunker and urges them to enter immediately. However, when they enter the room, they are unable to find Khalid. Instead, a laptop sits ominously on a table, and as Ryder begins to anticipate the worst, a bomb detonates, killing one of the guys instantaneously. As soldiers flood the property, chaos ensues, prompting the crew to engage in a desperate gunfight. Despite their best efforts to protect one another, the continual waves of enemy forces take a toll, injuring or killing squad members one by one. Colonel Hart speaks quietly with Khalid in his office. In a shocking betrayal, Hart admits that he intercepted a gang of mercenaries preparing to murder Khalid, side with the warlord to further his own objective. Back in the complex, Ryder is attempting to assist a severely injured Bulldog in escaping. Nonetheless, the troops immediately catch them. Bulldog understands there is no way out and makes the ultimate sacrifice, pushing himself into the line of fire. Despite taking numerous bullets, he manages to detonate a grenade, killing the attackers. Ryder desperately begs his brother's lifeless body to wake up, but it is too late. Bulldog has already died. Ryder flees as the mission fails, while Hart, back at headquarters, deceives Jenna by stating he hasn't heard from the unit. Jenna, knowing something is wrong, pleads for an explanation, but Hart instructs her to rest and promises her that everything will be okay. As she prepares to leave, Hart kills her in a final act of treachery. Fast forward 6 months to Portugal, where the President of the United States is scheduled to meet with key officials. During this time, he meets with his personal advisor, Joshua Reed, who is very supportive of Colonel Hart's promotion to a high-level position in the CIA. Reed believes Hart has delivered results and might be a valuable contributor. However, the President is cautious, expressing concerns about Hart's tendency to cause trouble and lack of credibility. Reed is so determined to achieve his aim that he risks his own life to support Hart, referring to him as a very confidential insurance policy. He also promises to keep any negative news from reaching the media in order to safeguard the President's reputation. The President reluctantly agrees, but only on the condition of giving Hart a trial run before making any permanent decisions. Hart quickly arrives at his London post. He informs his team that they are at war with opponents who seek to destroy their way of life. Ryder approaches a club in Italy and gains admittance. Selina, the woman in charge, notices him and sends her men to meet him pleasantly. 3 of Selina's men approach him in the bar and promptly reveal the situation. Despite his moderate rustiness, Ryder engages in combat with the soldiers until he is defeated. He awakens shackled to the wall, and Selina comes to see him. She's outraged because she thought he'd died and mourned for him. She cuts him loose, curious as to why he's returned. Ryder has arrived to get his retribution, revealing to Selina that all of his friends, including the pregnant Jenna, have died. Selina informs Ryder that Hart is now untouchable, and Ryder professes a preference for the President. He tells Selina that he needs a team that includes her, but she refuses and says she will attend his second funeral. Joshua contacts Hart, who is at home with his grandchildren, and begs him to turn on the TV. There he discovers information on the botched Khalid mission, as well as bodycam footage. Joshua then insists on addressing the matter to prevent future embarrassment. At his employment, his team discovered the source of the footage and identified Ryder via satellite surveillance. Ryder secures an apartment, but a police squad arrives soon after. The men break into Ryder's flat, but he quickly overcomes them before departing. He fights off a swarm of approaching officers outside, displacing the men meant to apprehend him. Despite being shot in the back, he manages to flee the men. Ryder takes a car and goes back to Selina's club, where she offers him help. Selina responds to his wound as he starts to pass out. Before waking up on Selina's land, he had a flashback about his brother's death. He goes outside to speak with her. She informs him that his face has been prominently published in the news, and he is currently in serious difficulty. But Ryder has a plan. Selina is plainly concerned for his life and decides to assist him. Then a man appears with a vehicle and a built-in room to surreptitiously transport Ryder to Malta. Ryder does not trust the man, but Selina explains that he does not have a choice at this time. Joshua and Hart speak with the President, who expresses concern over the findings. The President cautions Hart to clean up his mistake, and Joshua offers to handle the optics. Hart then notifies Joshua that Ryder has appeared in the city, and Joshua asks him to take all necessary steps to catch him. Selina and her companions meet Ryder's transport driver in Malta to pay over cash, but the man has brought armed goons with him. She hands him the cash, but before he can verify it, he claims it is insufficient. Despite their agreement, Ryder, seeing the CIA's hunger for him, demands more. He attempts to draw a gun, but Selina quickly disarms him, resulting in a brawl between the men. Despite their scant numbers, Selina's trained experts confront the goons in fight and eventually win. They abduct Ryder and return to Selina's club to begin scheming. She has a detailed plan of the many tunnels beneath the island and must make a smart decision about how to successfully guide their target through them. While 2 of Selina's men infiltrate the catacombs and begin planting bombs, she hands Ryder a powerful sniper rifle and tells him not to miss. Ryder's plan calls for forcing the President's detail into an ambulance under Selina's custody, which she will then bring to Ryder within the catacombs. On the day of the President's speech, Ryder travels out on his bike while Selina's men prepare. Joshua rejects Hart's call. Ryder fires the shot, striking the President in the arm as he walks out to the crowd's cheers. Before the Secret Service can get him out, One of Selena's guys activates a device that disables his car. Selena and her crew arrive in an ambulance, and the agents jump inside without hesitation. Witnessing the motorcade, Hart urges his soldiers to stay on the ambulance since it appears suspicious. Ryder hurriedly leaves his post and returns to his motorcycle to get to the meeting place. Selena, a nurse, provides a concoction that renders the president unconscious. After informing the operatives on board, Selena and her driver confront the guards in combat. During the violent confrontation, both agents pull out their weapons and attempt to fire shots, but Selena and her driver do everything they can to keep them away. The driver knocks down the agent who was fighting him, while Selena uses a fire extinguisher to take out her man. They try to flee the pursuing agents on the crowded street, but, apparently unaware of the president's presence, they are ordered to fire on the ambulance. The ambulance slams into a wall, causing explosives. When the agents arrive to investigate the ambulance, Selena and her partner have slipped underground with the president, using explosives to cover their tracks. Hart then notifies his men that they have lost the president. The gang guides the unconscious president through the maze-like subterranean before transporting him to their secret hideout in a van. Selena reunites with Ryder at the hideout, relieved that the most dangerous aspect of the operation is over. The men move rapidly, carefully removing the president from the van. Inside the dimly lit bunker, Ryder eventually steps forward to address the president. For a few moments, the president, still perplexed by the tranquilizer, looks at Ryder, initially believing he is dealing with a terrorist. However, as Ryder speaks, the president notices his American accent and gradually realizes that this is not a foreign enemy, but one of his own countrymen. As Ryder reveals his identity, he goes on to explain that he previously worked for the U.S. government, under Colonel Hart's guidance. The president's eyes widen as the pieces begin to fit together, and recognition appears on his face. He finally understands not only who Ryder is, but why everything is happening. The gravity of the situation sinks in, and the president, struggling to regain his composure, asks Ryder what he expects of him. Ryder's reaction is measured, and his voice remains consistent. He does not seek money, power, or retribution in the traditional sense. Instead, he seeks something far more essential. He wants the president to confess, revealing the horrifying secrets kept from the public and revealing the truth. In a mournful transition, the scene shifts to a peaceful chapel. As a female journalist approaches, she goes slowly down the aisle, head bowed in thought, before kneeling in front of the altar and praying. She turns slightly and notices Ryder standing motionless. Without saying anything, he hands her a thumb drive. The thumb drive transfers the media quickly. Reports instantly flooded every major news network, displaying the shocking video of the president's confession. In the video, the president admits to not being completely transparent about his actions and decisions since taking office. He goes on to discuss the covert talks and ethically problematic judgments that have defined his administration, actions that have endangered lives and undermined the dignity of his office. This compelled Joshua to commit suicide. Colonel Hart appears in Havana, Cuba, where he is now hiding. As Colonel Hart gets into his automobile, he runs into Ryder, who pulls out a device, blows up Hart's car, and then walks away, seeking vengeance for his fallen colleagues. He meets Selena, who is waiting for him, and the two drive away. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.